A very good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to Live Talk. We're coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington this Friday, May the 26th, 2023. I'm your host, Marvelous Mhlanga-Nyahuye. And tonight on Live Talk, we're discussing about the safety of journalists in Zimbabwe, as well as looking at this year's Zim Expo taking place in Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States. But first, the interim leader of the Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change, Nelson Chamisa, today held a meeting in Harare to discuss about the safety of journalists during the upcoming general elections, which are expected to be called soon by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Mr. Chamisa told journalists who attended the meeting that free and fair elections cannot happen without an independent, professional, and non-partisan media.
Or this or that, but they talk about me every day. But they've never bothered to come and just check to say, what is your view? The Zim papers, you know. I've never been interviewed by the Herald, you know, for almost like I think 7 years now. That tells you how I'm just dramatizing. That is a problem. Now, how do you have a proper, credible, free and fair election in circumstances where you have many people say it's state media. It's not supposed to be. It's public media. It's a public media. And that is where we must even go back and say, let's restore, you know, public broadcasters to be public broadcasters so that they're not state broadcasters. There's a difference between a state media and a public media. And that is where we must go. But it's all to do with, obviously, the policy that we have to relook at. So, yes, thank you for coming. We have our commitment at a leadership level that will provide security. In fact, we've asked our guys to say, let's have proper identification and accreditation of our journalists. Even if you're from ZBC, you are from the Herald, we believe that we must respect and protect the conduits and mechanisms of broadcasting of information, even if they differ with us. In fact, we have no difference with any media institution because they are not political players. So ZBC is our broadcaster.
Yes.
And even the Herald is our newspaper as a people. But what we want is to obviously make sure that we liberate them from the shackles and manacles of politics. Because right now they have been put under the wings of a political party. And you can hardly distinguish between the Herald and the Patriot. That is not desirable. The Herald must be a national broadcaster. The Patriot can be a party broadcaster. So that is critical. And I would say that that's the area of discomfort we have.
That was the interim leader of the Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change, Nelson Chamisa, in Harare. Sachigaro vesangano remisa Board of Trustees vaChris Chinaka vanoti vari kufara kuti vachamisa vavimbisa kuti bato reTCC richachengetedza vatori venhau pamisangano yaro. Mutori wedu wenhau Godwin Mangunja ataura navaChinaka nezvenyaya iyi. Regai tinzwe. Let's go to Mr. Chinaka.
Tinofara kuti taita musangano nevakuru veTCC nemukuru wavo Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Tafara kunyanya kuti takwanisa kutaura nezvemashandirwo evanotora nhau nevanopepeta nhau. Vakaratidza kuti ivo vanonzwisisa basa iri nekukosha kwarinoita. Vativimbisa ivo kuti pavanenge vachiita misangano yavo, pavanenge vachiita mabasa avo ezvematongerwo enyika, vachange vachikoshesa kutorwa nekupepetwa kwenhau, vachange vachiedza kushanda nevanotora nekupepeta nhau kuti mashoko ange achibuda zvakanaka. Chechipiri, vativimbisawo kuti pamisangano yavo vachange vachiona kuti vanotora nhau havambanikidzwe, uye kuti ivo maonero avo hapafaniri kuva kusarudza kuti vanotora nhau vanobva divi ripi, vanosarudza divi ripi. izvozvo zvinhu zvavataura. Vataurawo nokuzvimwe zvavanonyunyuta munyaya dzekutorwa kwenhau dzekuti masangano akaita sana ZBC havana zvishandiso zvakakwana, uye dzimwe nguva vanotorwa nemapatowo mamwe kunge vava bato rematongerwo enyika, pane kunge vachitora nhau vakatarisa nyika yose sapublic broadcaster. Ndo dzimwe nyaya dzabuda pavari.
Avo vange varisa chigaro vesangano remisa Board of Trustees vaChris Chinaka vachitaura naGodwin Mangundya weStudio 7. We also spoke to Nigel Nyamutumbu of the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe, who urged all political parties to respect the rights of journalists, even if they are not happy with what they publish.
Chikuru chabuda kuonesana kuti ivo sevanhu vari kukukwidza muzvematongerwo enyika mugore rino resarudzo vatipawo zvavati ivo vachakwanisa kuita, isi tichivaonesawo kuti kune matanho anokwanisa kutorwa kuti kana vachinge vasiri kufara nemashandiro ari kuita vemapepanhau, kana vasiri kufara nekushambadzwa kunenge kwaitwa nhau mawairesi nhau zvivhitivhiti, vane matanho vanokwanisa kuti vatore. Matanho iwayo haana mhirizhonga, matanho iwayo anotobatsira kuti chokwadi chibude pachena, nokuda kwekuti nyaya yesarudzo hatidi kuti kuve kune anorerekera kune rimwe divi kana kune rimwe divi, asi tinoda kuti ruzhinji rweZimbabwe rungopiwa zivo yekuti kana ivo vachizoita sarudzo vanoita sarudzo vachiziva zvinenge zvavimbiswa. Pavimbiswa zvakare nyaya yekutarisa mashandiro anoita vatapi venhau, zvingava kuti kubroadcaster yedu yenyika, zvingava mitemo nezvakadii zvinoshandiswa mukuti basa redu rifambe, vapawo chidzidzo kuti aiwa inyaya dzatofanira kuti titarise kuti tisimudzire nenyaya yekuchengetedzwa kwevatapi venhau. Vataurawo vakati nedzimweni dzenguva vane dambudziko rekuti mapurisa hawanzouyawo zvavo, asi vange vachiti kune vava vanoshanda navo vacho vachaita kuti vadzidziswe, vafundiswe kuti vanotapa nhau munguva dzinoitikana kuti mhirizhonga vave vakachengetedzeka. Saka isi tafarawo nezvavatsividza izvozvo, ende tichipfuurira mberi nekuti tionanisane nekutaurirana nevakasiyana-siyana vari kukwidza mumaelections.
That there was Nigel Nyamutumbu of the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe speaking with Studio 7's Godwin Mangundya. We also reached out to Zimbabwe Union of Journalists Secretary General Mr. Perfect Hlongwane. Let's hear what he had to say.
Into enza ukuthi size kulomhlangano ukuthi sibone kuqhakathekile ukuthi sikhulumisane, sixoxisane phakathi kwentatheli izindaba kanye labezo mbangazwe, amabandla ezombangazwe. Inhloso kuyikuthi kube lo dlame olukhulu lapho sibona intatheli izindaba zihlukuluzwa. Sasibona thina ukuthi kungcono ukuthi sikhulumisane lapho ukuthi lapho intatheli izindaba zisiza thatha indaba emhlanganweni yabo emaralini lentweni ezifana nalezo, kufanele ukuthi bona babe leqiniso lokuthi intatheli izindaba zilondolozekile, intatheli izindaba zivikelekile ekuthini zingaze zahlukuluzwa ngabantu. Yazi ukuthi nxa kule rally abantu abaningi balembono yabo ehlukeneyo, ngakho sibona sengathi amabandla ezombangazwe aqhakathekile ukuthi akhuthaze abasekeli bawo bangaze bahlukumeza intatheli izindaba.
Kulo double khunyo ngumnumzana Khamisa lapha ukuba intatheli izindaba ziqhakatheke kakhulu nxa sikhangelane lendaba zama-elections. Nalikubukana njani indlela intatheli izindaba ezisebenza ngayo ngesikhathi sama-elections ukhetho oluphelele lokhetho oluzayo?
Liqiniso ukuthi intatheli izindaba ziqhakathekile. Khumbula phela ukuthi umsebenzi wentatheli izindaba siwuthatha uphuma kusisekelo sombuso ukuthi silomsebenzi lomlando ukuthi abantu babe lolwazi lwalokho kwenzakala elizweni. Ngakho ke yikuqakatheka kwentatheli izindaba ke lokho. Kodwa nxa sikhangele udaba lodlame kumbe ukusebenza kwabo sisiya kulolu khetho. Ukhetho olwedluleyo sibe labantu abahlukuleziweyo bezintatheli izindaba. Sibona sengani lokhu yinto esifuna ukuthi siyivimbe ingaze yaqhubekela phambili. Intatheli izindaba zethu zenelise ukuqhuba umsebenzi kungela dlame kumbe ukuhlukunyezwa.
That there was the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists Secretary General, Mr. Perfect Hlongwane, speaking to Mlondolozi Ndlovu. Let us now take a short break. Please stay tuned. Please don't go away.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depend on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those that have just joined us, please take note that we are streaming live on all our Facebook pages, VOA Shona, VOA Studio 7, and VOA Ndebele. We're also live on YouTube at VOA Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans from all corners of the United States and other countries are meeting in Atlanta, Georgia for ZimExpo Business and Networking event that started today and ends on Sunday. The event in the running in partnership with a Zimbabwean embassy in Washington, which will today be processing travel and other legal documents for Zimbabweans in the United States. Some musicians from Zimbabwe have also been invited, and a business exhibition will also be showcasing some of the businesses run by Zimbabweans in America. And to discuss our main topic of the day, which is ZimExpo, we are joined by Mr. Anesu Mbanjengwa of Sadza.com, who's also an organizer for ZimExpo, while we're waiting for Miss Savannah Madamombe of Mubatira Pamwe Trust. Welcome to the program, Mr. Mbanjengwa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about today's program. You started today. What was going on in Atlanta, Georgia there?
Yeah. Today, this morning, we started by doing passport renewals and child authentication and child registration for those kids who were born abroad but still want to be Zimbabwean. So their parents can come to ZimExpo in Atlanta and get their kids Zimbabwean birth certificates. So that's what we started off with this morning. And this evening at 6 o'clock, we have a business dinner. It's a dress-up, formal dinner that the ambassador is a keynote speaker. We do have some other diplomats and delegates who will be speaking at the Zimbabwe business dinner from 6 o'clock to around 9:30 in the evening, with the ambassador again being the keynote speaker. And then after that, we have an after party, or we call it a welcome party, where the whole community is invited to loosen their legs and dance a little bit. We have a battle of the DJs, when we have 4 DJs who are performing for us, battling for the DJ of the year for ZimExpo.
Mm-hmm. And what makes this ZimExpo different from the last one you held? When was it?
Well, the last expo was in Cincinnati last Memorial Day weekend. Mm-hmm. Our ZimExpos are always held during that Memorial Day weekend because it's a long weekend and the beginning of summer, and people are off work or school on the Monday. So it allows us to have more activities, and there's a travel day that can be used for Monday to go back home. So this one expo we are doing this year is very special because we are really refocusing our attention on business and business incubation, entrepreneurship, business discussions. So we are redirecting the Zimbabweans abroad to focus on not just being content with working for the men, but working for themselves, and try to incorporate Africa or Zimbabwe in general as their target audience, target market.
Please stay on the line. I understand we now have Miss Savannah Madamombe. Welcome to the program, Miss Madamombe.
Thank you, Marvelous.
I know that you are en route to to Atlanta, but why are you traveling to go and be part of Zim Expo?
Marvelous, I am traveling because this is a great opportunity to meet Zimbabweans wherever they are. Because in the line of work that we are doing, we are where we deal with people who are using substance and drugs. Most of the parents that we meet are in the diaspora and their children are in Zimbabwe. Or they are in the diaspora and they have children that are struggling with drugs and substance.
Saka munoona zvakakosha sei kuti munge muri pachiitiko ichi uyezve muchange muri kuita sei sesangano?
Zvakakosha nekuti pane musicians ari kuuya. Musicians ari kuaffectwa zvakanyanya. Uyezve musicians ndivo vane simba rekupasa messages ari correct kana abatsira vanhu vazhinji vakaona munhu wavanoita idolize, munhu wavanoda zvaanoita vanotedzera zvese, especially vechidiki vanotedzera. And the music iri kuburiswa yakawanda iri kupromota kushandisa kwezvinodhaka. Izvi zvinova zvinozokuvadza vanenge vasina ruzivo rwakawanda. So tinoda kuti timbotaura navo, timbosvikawo patinonyatsogara pasi navo kuti vanonzwisisa here kuti zvavanoita ivo zvinochinja upenyu hwevanhu.
Still on that issue, let me go into English and just say, what are you hoping to achieve by having this workshop? You mentioned that there are some musicians coming from Zimbabwe. What are you hoping to address?
We need to address the music industry, especially as concerning to how it has been affected with drugs and substance. We've lost so many are on the street. We are losing a lot of talent because people are not understanding and they are not addressing the fact that we have a huge problem in the music industry. And they also influence others, you understand? The young ones that who idolize them, they influence them. So we really need to sit down and talk about it.
Please stay on the line while I switch over to Mr. Manjengwa. If you can come on. Mr. Manjengwa, there are some of your critics who accuse this event as being aligned to the government, and to be direct, they say it's a ZANU-PF event. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we have been in business since 1999 as Zim Expo. We facilitate business platforms of all forms and business people. We facilitate, in fact, in the past, we have had MDC man booths at our expos. So we are not a political organization, but we do not turn away anybody who wants to come and discuss business or the opportunities that are available in business. Now, having said that, our ambassador right now, Ambassador Taja Sifamba, he is actually very business-minded and very forward-looking. In fact, yesterday, he's very supportive of Zim Expo, by the way. Not because it's a political party, but it's not. Yesterday, if I can tell you, he was here in Atlanta, went to Georgia Tech to try and find methods or ways for students in Zimbabwe to come to America and those in America to go to Zimbabwe, have a student exchange program. And at the same time, also talk to the mayor's office and see what we can do when it comes to business opportunities, with small business or even large businesses. So he is not talking about ZANU-PF or MDC or CCC, but he's talking about how can a regular person in America who came here for under whatever conditions, as a political exile or as a student or as a worker who wants to do something for Zimbabwe, non-political. So that accusation is false, is wrong, it's malicious, it's misleading, and we have had many like that before. Until people come to the expo and they see all kinds of people, black, white, mixed, and their families that are together here in America, enjoying discussions and dinners or barbecues, then they understand that no one is here saying vote for ZANU-PF or vote for CCC or vote for whatever. That is not what Zimbabwe is about. We are about businesses and people talking about businesses. And we welcome anybody with any business ideas. Come on down, get a booth, or talk to us. We put you on our website. If you look at our website, ZimExpoUSA.com, we have listed the companies that are here for business.
So while we're still on that political front, are there any other political parties that will be participating at this year's event? Especially like the opposition, you mentioned that you've previously had other members of other political parties participating.
Yes, there is a member of about 2 or 3 guys from the CCC party who want to exhibit tomorrow. They have not paid for their booth. Now, we've charged for the booth $300. For that, you can get a booth. You can say whatever you want to say in your booth. So, but they have not paid for their booth, and I'm hoping that they can pay for their booth because their money is needed in our pocket. So there should be CCC with a booth. There's no ZANU-PF here with a booth. But we welcome them. If they want to get a booth, we have 3 more booths available. We can reserve one for them.
And how many exhibitors would you say you have at this year's event?
Right now, we have 17 exhibitors that have registered. We can accommodate a total of 20 exhibitors, but right now we have 17, so we have 3 more that are available for taking.
And while we're still on that, we understand there's going to be a symposium where musicians from Zimbabwe will be having a workshop with Ms. Savannah Madamombe. But which musicians have been invited to this event from Zimbabwe?
Yes, from Zimbabwe we invited 2 musicians that got their visas and actually already made it to America. We have Popton. He's well known for his song, Father, I'm Thank You, Doro, that song. People don't know the musician, but they know the song. And then we have Tammy Moyo. Those are already here. They came from Zimbabwe. But we also have some Zimbabwean musicians based here in the USA. In fact, 3 of them are actually based here in Atlanta. We have a guy called Charlie D, or Charles Doro. We have a guy called AGM Spook. And then we also have a guy called Donald or Zabron. They are here in Atlanta. And a dynamic artist called Julian King, coming out of Dallas, Texas. They'll be here to perform for us.
Thank you so much. Let me get back to Savannah Madamombe. Shuwiro yenyu ndeyeyi mushure mekuenda kuZim Expo muchionawo zvizvarwa zveZimbabwe uyezve muchitaura nevaimbi nevamwe. Shuwiro yenyu ndeyeyi?
Inini shuwiro yangu ndeyekungoti vanhu vakwanise kuziva vakwanise kuziva kuti nyaya yemadrugs akamira sei, especially madrugs apinda munyika medu. Madrugs aya akasiyana chaizvo nemadrugs aimbove kudhaya vekukare. Even doro riri kumwiwa rakasiyana nedoro ravaiziva. Tikatarisa kare vanhu vaitotukanzwa kuti mbanje, vanhu vaitovhunduka. Madrugs ariko aya anonzi mastimulants haana kumira zvakanaka. Ende vana vari muzvikoro pavari kuenda ikoko kumwe kwavanofara zvinenge zvakazara vanasikana vatambura, vanakomana vatambura. Saka chiri kuzonetsa ndechekuti vabereki ndivo vari kutambura kudarikidza, nekuti muchagara nemunhu aakurwara nepfungwa musingazive, ende vazhinji vari kupedzisira vakuvanzwa. Saka tikange tisina ruzivo, tisingapanane ruzivo, shiviro ndeyekuti isu vana vari kuno kudiaspora vazhinji vacho tisiri affected. Takasiya vana tichimhanya tichiuya kuzoshanda, hatina kuziva kuti tasiya vana panguva yakaoma. Ngatichibatanei tione kuti toita sei tigadzirisane. Izvi hazvinei nemapato nepolitics. asi zvinei nekuve hunhu hwedu isusu vantu vari mucommunity tiri kukanganisika ifundo zvatiri kuendera zvimwe zvese hatinei nazvo kuti unosapota chii kana kuti wakatarisa kuda kuziva kuti tobatsirana sei sevanhu vane dambudziko rakafanana. Ini ndine hanzvadzi yangu anoshandisa zvinodhaka watiri kushanda naye, saka ndizvo zvakaita kuti tipindewo ipapo. Saka nditoriwo munhu ari mudambudziko asi akafungawo kuti ndozvitambisa sei toita sei.
So, bearing in mind, you just mentioned that there are some parents who left their kids in Zimbabwe, and you're finding that, they send money home, but that money is misused. What's your advice?
So, Tanya, when parents are sending money, I really, it's very difficult to advise. But most parents, if you have someone, an adult, hammer, that you can trust, it's what you can do. But it's a difficult situation to advise someone when they have no one. When I left my son, I was lucky. I had my sister, I had my mom. Everybody was fighting to take care of him. You understand? Some people don't have. So what do you advise such a person? They just leave because they want to do what they need to do. But this is where we're saying now, as a community, we used to raise we need to get back to that. Where a community raises a child. Not to but we see your child. We see your child in the community. We see what is happening. You don't even know what your child is up to. The community can help you if we raise a child together.
Thank you so much, there, Savannah Madamombe. Hopefully, you have the, a good trip. See you in Atlanta. Tozoka kwa muri vamanjengwa. Tichitarisa kuti mataura imi kuti pachange pari kusangana vemabhizimisi nezvimwe muri kutarisira kuti pabude chii mushure mekunge mapedza enyu chiitiko ichi?
Vemabhizimisi vanogona kuwana ma-new customers. Ini ndiri kwesadza.com handii munozviziva. Ndine macompanies akuzimbabwe akawanda pasadza.com. Like what my Madam Mombe is saying, kuti vanhu vatumira mari kumba and is being misappropriated. On sadza.com munogona kutuma mari yenyu peyakananga. Tikushanda nevanhu ve-medical aid, vechikafu, ve-health insurance, ve-life insurance, vema-bricks, vakawanda-wanda. So tinofunga kuti kupata kwe-expo vanenge vari pano vanogona kuwana ma-connections nema-customer base avo vari kuda ma-business. Avo vari kudawo social life. Pano ndio panosangana vanhu vakawanda, ma-high school reunions vakabhonana kare vanosangana pana paZimex voita rekindle ukama hwavo neushamwari hwavo hwekare. So basically izvozvo ndo zvakananga kuti vanhu vazivane as maZimbabweans. Nyika ino yakakura spirit, yakakura maningi nyika yeAmerica. Mwana yakunoko ogara ega ari mukamba kake akadondoka kare kuIdaho kana kuti kuIowa asingawani namaZimbabweans. Asi akagona kuya kuZimexpo anoswera achidya mazondo, maguru, sadza nenyama achitsara yake nendebele yake zvakanaka-naka vanhu vake vakakura navo. Achiita rekindle, achiita reattach kama vake nevanhu vekuZimbabwe.
So are there going to be some Zimbabwean goodies at the expo?
Yes. There will be a lot of Zimbabwean goodies. In fact, it's just one Roiko, Supu Savi, Mahara. Vano vari kutengesa chikafu chakabikwa vari kuno ku Atlanta. Vari kubika mazondo, maguru, sadza, maburuvos. Saka zvakawanda zviri kuno zvakatirongera kuno kana kuno kuAtlanta saka tofarawo nazo.
Thank you so much, and that brings us to the end of our show. Would like to thank all our guests. We had Savannah Madamombe and also Mr. Anesu Manjengwa, and you, of course, our viewers and listeners at home. Signing off in Washington, our marvelous Mhlanganya. We are saying have a very good night and a great weekend.